Here goes ArmRSeal is what I use the most on tabletops that are stained. This is the top that we did a couple of days ago. It's nice and dry now. You just have to make sure it's dry to the touch. It's not tacky and everything just glides right on it. It's pretty easy to apply. I dump them in these little containers so I don't have to put my rag in there and get different gel stains on it. You apply a liberal amount, not too much, just enough to get it nice and wet. You go from one end to the other, nice and smooth. If you got little streaks, don't worry about it. Don't go over it because it doesn't like to be touched too much. Just do one stroke, and if you don't like the way it looks, let it dry. Tomorrow you can sand it down a little bit and give it another coat. Your first coat, you want it a little heavy. You don't want it too thin because you just have to put a lot of coats on it. This is how I do it. I dump them in these are little Jello cups that I eat a lot. I just save these. My wife doesn't like it too much because I'm a hoarder when it comes to containers. She's laughing because she's the one recording. And I just start with a liberal amount. I just move it. That's really all you want. If you miss a spot, don't worry, you'll get it tomorrow. It self-levels. So if it's a little heavy, by the time it dries, it'll be okay. Get your edges. You remember when I put the stain, it was real dark. This wood from Malaysia absorbs a lot, and you can tell now that there's hardly any stain left in it. The ArmRSeal brings out the colors better. It ambers a little bit, so if you don't like the way it looks, you can tint a little bit, add a little bit of stain to your ArmRSeal, or just go over it again once it dries. Let's try the other side. That's all it takes. Your first coat. Don't be afraid. If you don't like the way it looks tomorrow, sand it down. I'll post another video tomorrow of the second coat, and you'll see how easy this is. And by far, it's the most economical too. This is $17 a quart at Woodcraft or Rocklear. And with a quart, I can do about 3 tabletops, maybe 4. You don't need a sprayer. You don't need to be a professional with a paintbrush. You don't need no Klingon brush or nothing special, which I do have 2 Klingon brushes and I love them. But this is, if you can get closer, you can see there's streaks in there. It doesn't matter. Those streaks will go away. It self-levels. Some parts had already absorbed a lot of it. See what happens when you go over it too much? It doesn't like it. It starts to bubble up a little bit. Just leave it alone. These are the seats. They want the seats stained in gray too. The customer wanted me to paint the table and chairs. They thought it was too much, what I asked for. They decided to do it themselves. Figured out, hey, this is too much work. So they brought me the pieces, which is okay. I can stain this a lot easier. Plus they sanded them down, so I'm charging them the same amount of money. So that's not too bad. Let me get another little container. Now if you were brushing this, it would take you a whole lot longer. If you were rolling it, take you a whole lot longer. If you were spraying it, it'd take you longer. And this way, all your material stays on your table. You don't have overspray. Like I said, with a quart, I have done about, I can do about 3 regular tabletops. Maybe 4 with 1 quart. I use this for stain only. All my stains go with this. Be careful when you're doing with your rag. You get little fuzzies from your rag, just push them away. Don't need no special rag, nothing special, just cut up t-shirt. There's no way you can do this any faster in any other way. Least expensive. And ArmRSeal is probably one of the strongest top coats available. And it smells good. I like it. I've used plenty of oil-based polyurethane before. I've made my own wipe-on poly before. It's not as good. It doesn't self-level. If you look right here, it's already drying. This wood from Malaysia, it's got so many different types of wood in it. That's why the stain doesn't even look too even. I sent a picture to the customer and they love it. So that's all that matters. And like I said, if you don't like the way it looks the first time, the first coat, leave it alone. Let it dry. Tomorrow you can sand it down a little bit. But you can see, it's hard to see because of the reflection. But where there were some streak marks from the rag, they're starting to just level out and you can't even tell they were there. Tabletop, leaf, 4 chairs. Use 1 of these and maybe a quarter of these. Tomorrow, on my second coat, I'll probably use the rest of this one. Since I didn't put my rag in here, I can put this back in my container. It's not contaminated. I recently started using this because Amanda Combs recommends it so much, so I figured I'd try it. And I bought 2 quarts just to try it. This one is satin. It comes in satin, flat, semi-gloss, I believe. $17 a quart. I'm not advertising. I'm not getting paid to do this. $17. You can do 4 tabletops or spend $27 a quart of high performance and do maybe 1. They're both great products. Wonderful. I love General Finishes. That's all I use is General Finishes. I use nothing else because I loved how everything works. Everything is just perfect. So I prefer this for my top coats on stains, and on my painted furniture, I use high performance top coat. Right here, I'm working on the wife's kitchen. The tops they're going to be painted in Duro Poly. They are the chairs for this table. I just primed them. They're going to go in Seagull Gray. Thank you for watching, and tomorrow I will post the second coat. This is sucking up so fast, it will be dry enough to sand by tomorrow morning. Thank you. Goodbye.